Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's Balance Through Art show. I'm your host, Austin Madsen. Welcome to Salt Lake City, one of the most beautiful cities you'll ever find. Maybe except like some cool place in Europe, but we'll work with what we got. Got a guest tonight. His name's City Fajardo. Did I say that right? Sick. Okay. And we're just going to talk about life, share some tunes, and ultimately how to incorporate your art into your life to find a happy balance. So, yeah, we'll start with like a couple songs and we'll get into it. All right, smack some cojones. Mic malfunction. Check. Another day goes by, and I don't even try. I just sit in my room, trying to make a tune. This is how I pass the time, writing in a rhyme. But how long will this last? Before it drifts into my past. It seems like everything I do, I hit a wall. And when I hit this wall, it causes me to fall. And when I fall, I don't nearly feel as whole. It makes me wonder why I even tried it all. It makes me wonder why I even tried it all. It makes me wonder why I even try it all. It makes me wonder why I even try it all. I feel like a slug dragging along in life, and each obstacle I hit causes so much strife. Why do I move so slow? It's because I fear what I don't know, what I don't know. It seems like everything I do, I hit a wall. And when I hit this wall, it causes me to fall. And when I fall, I don't nearly feel as whole. I'm a big disgrace, my family name. Oh yeah, I'm ashamed, 'cause every time I try, I hit this wall. Seems like everything I do, I hit this wall. Well, City.
Yes, sir.
How did our paths cross? I want to hear it from your point of view.
Well, I was at open mic. And
Where?
In Bountiful.
Cool.
And I saw this awesome guy playing the guitar, shredding it, doing an amazing job. I was like, whoa, that kid's awesome. So I wanted to know his name, and I found out it was you. And I was like, sick, I got to jam with this kid. And then one day we did, and it was awesome.
Amen to that. Yeah, that's pretty much the exact story. Open mic, yeah. I quickly became pretty stoked with City's energy. He's kind of, I don't want to say downgraded tonight, but he normally is killing it on just a full drum set. And, yeah, we jammed for the first time in his basement. Has some sweet Christmas lights hanging up. A lot of noise in a very small space, like how most bands practice. But it was a lot of fun. So what would you say kind of like your interest with rhythm or drumming or anything like that kind of popped up into your life?
Well, ever since I was little, I had a drum set, got it for Christmas, and in like most pictures you see of me as a kid, I have my drumsticks, I got something in rhythm, I'm always banging on pots and pans. And then when I got into junior high, I made it into the jazz band, and that's like early morning, every day, you got to be dedicated. So I got into that, and then I got into high school and got into that jazz band. I've just been progressing ever since then.
That's awesome. I would have never made the jazz band like on guitar. Just knowing me.
You're good.
just knowing me. But so that's awesome. And for you, what is it about rhythm and drumming that like makes you come alive or wakes you up?
There's so many different variations. There's so many ways you can play things, and you can make things up. You can write things, and you can just make it your own. And it like shows expression with all the dynamics, and you can just make it like what you're feeling.
Absolutely. One thing I love about percussion is you can really like practice it anywhere. You know, a guitar you need like 6 strings and an instrument. Drums you can sit there and
bang on your legs.
So that's cool. Do you come from a musical family, or what's your background concerning that?
So I am the only musical one in my family. So I try to teach them things, but I'm the only one.
That's interesting. Kind of from my background, my dad's been playing piano since he was like 5. So like always grew up, you know, my dad would come home from work and just like lay on some keys and we'd sit there and sing along. But that's cool. You're kind of like a pioneer. Yeah. Just like adventuring the musical terrain on your own.
Kind of like an outcast in my family.
The black sheep. So what is the rest of your family like? What are they into? And yeah.
And who are they? Well, my mom teaches 4th grade in Bountiful, and my brother is in college doing psychology, and my dad is somewhere in Germany.
So what does your dad do for work?
He's in the army.
That explains it.
Yeah.
He's fighting those Nazis, right?
Sure thing.
Or is he one of them?
Never know.
You never know. That's right. Well, that's awesome. So what we do here at the Balance Through Art Show is what we've done so far: play music, talk, learn about each other. Then we talk about this. And the sad thing is, I think with the video camera and the light of the screen, it doesn't come through like super well. So if anyone's watching, we'll try our best to explain what we're talking about in such a way you can follow along. But before we get into that, let's play a couple more songs.
I'm down.
Sweet. This song's called Summertime Prisoner. The last one, as you can guess, was called I Hit a Wall. Just original songs. And this one's about childhood and when it's summer and the sun goes down, and that is one of your least favorite times of the day. Just ate supper and I wanna play with my friends, 'cause it's summertime and the days they never seem to end. But my mama said it's time for bed, you gotta rest your head. I don't want to, I wanna play until the end of day. Sun's still up, I wanna play. Mom says, hey, you had a long day. Go to my room, close my door, wishing I still had more. Wishing I still had. Sun's still up, I wanna play. Mom says, hey, you had a long day. Go to my room, close my door, wishing I still had more. Wishing I still had more. Da-da, da-da. 6 years later, it's summertime again. But I'm 17, I got no car, but now I play guitar. I sit in my room, bang out a tune with my tongue out like a goon. My mama said it's time for bed, it's 10:15. Sun's not up, still wanna play. Mom says, no, you had a long day. Stay in my room, close my door, and play guitar even more. Play guitar even more. Wishing I still had more. This next one's called I Wanna Fly. Looking out the window again, stuck in this grown-up playpen. So I took a pen I found in the pen, so I could pen these words. I wanted to fly, but every time I try, I get denied. I'll get 6 feet off the ground, then the man will pull me down. He'll say flying is for birds, man, and you're just a man, but more than a man. I'm a thing on my own. So what gives you the right to own me? Looking at my society, feeling like a lone pine tree above this sea of industry. I still reach for the sky. I still wanna fly, but every time I try, I get denied. I'll get 6 feet off the ground, then the man will pull me down. He'll say flying is for birds, man, and you're just a man, but I'm more than a man. I'm a thing on my own. So what gives you the right to own? Fly, but every time I try, I get denied. I'll get 6 feet off the ground, then the man will pull me down. He'll say flying is for birds, man, and you're just a man, but I'm more than a man. I'm a thing on my own. So what gives you the right to own me?
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz. You're gonna have like a super deep voice. Smooth jazz. All right. Well, now the fun and painful part begins.
I'm ready.
Okay. We're gonna walk through the life cycle illustrated in this logo here. So you'll see kind of four main elements: a star, a flame, a little fish, and a mountain. Each one of these has a meaning, and they represent different areas we find ourselves in life. And to break it down kind of step by step, each quadrant is separated into two subcategories. And then, so we'll just start walking through the cycle. So the reason it's called the Balance Through Art Show is ideally in life, we want to be balanced, and we want to incorporate our talent, our art, into that balance. And what I have found is we can be very well balanced in life, eating the right foods, getting our schoolwork done, getting enough sleep, doing all the right things. But if we know we have some sort of talent or skill or something that we love and we're not incorporating it into that mix, you can have everything perfect. And if that's not right, or if that's not in it, it doesn't feel right. Would you agree with that from your experience?
Yeah, I think that having things that like you can count on and that you know that you can do and that you can strive to do better in, it helps a lot so that you know what course you're on and where you're going in life and what to do.
Absolutely. Smart young man.
You taught me well.
Oh, yes. The 2 days we've hung out. All right, so to begin this cycle, we'll start with pride. So the flame kind of represents life, right? You've probably made a fire a time or two in your life. What does every fire begin with?
Flame.
Right.
Spark,
which is a small flame. And, of course, you need some sort of fuel, right, for that spark to catch. So yeah, we're all born at some point, right? None of us would be here if it weren't for our great mothers and our fathers, And so we kind of spark into life. And we're growing up, we're banging on pots and pans. Maybe I'm playing air guitar. We don't really know what we're doing. We're kids and we just have fun, right? But at some point we kind of start realizing, hey, I kind of have a knack for rhythm or drumming. And I was like, hey, I kind of like the guitar. And if it's something like you're kind of feel like you're meant to do or it's enjoyable, you're going to start getting good at it, And so our first stumbling block, or the first beginning of the cycle with pride, is boastfulness. So, I remember when I first started thinking I was good at guitar, I got invited to be in a band. And that's where I quickly learned I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but so boastfulness is kind of that first thing, and you see it in sports, right? Someone's really talented. Oh, I'm the best, And that boastfulness, if gone unchecked, leads to conceitedness. I'm hot stuff, right? I'm it, But there's something wrong with that, and we'll get into that. But City, have you had experiences from your own experience or watching other people of how they kind of enter that realm of pride with what they're doing?
Well, in my jazz band, there's another drummer, and he thinks he's pro. And I'm not saying he's not good, but he's good. And he likes to brag a lot. He likes to be like, I'm a lot better than you. I got every song. I can do this. And I think it's silly. But, yeah, he's been very prideful in all of that.
Just from watching him with that pride, do you see how that maybe, how is that good for him and how is it bad for him just from watching him?
It's good for him because I guess it makes him want to progress more, or I guess maybe not, but it's bad because he is annoying.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of how it begins, right? We get prideful, boastful, we get kind of conceited. And then at some point, if it goes unchecked, if we fail to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, at some point there's a defeat. And that defeat leads to this ego death. And that's where we enter a state of humility. And the fish symbolizes water. It puts out the fire of that pride. What's an experience you've had where you maybe went from like a higher state, maybe a little bit of pride, and some sort of defeat? Like, what's an experience you've had in your life?
Well, when I started getting into guitar, I was learning a bunch of covers and like trying to show everybody my covers, and then I thought I was like macho man. I could do every cover I wanted, and then I got invited to do a solo acoustic gig at a party, and so I was like, all right, I'll just do all my Nirvana covers because I can do all those. And then I got there, and I wrecked all of them because I wasn't ready and I wasn't prepared, and I should have been more prepared instead of like showing off to everybody else.
And how did that make you feel?
Defeated.
Here's an example I kind of use. So the first time I went to open mic, you know, I've been like practicing all these songs I've written in my room. I'm like, yeah, these are the greatest songs, you know. I get to this open mic, and there's like all these people that are way better than me. And I remember getting on this, like, they give you those really uncomfortable, like, bar stools to sit on. Yeah. And you're like, where do I put my feet? I don't know. And I remember I almost didn't even have to, like, strum because my leg was shaking so bad. I could, like, strum the guitar. And boy, that was, like, a pretty, like, yeah, crappy experience for sure. But even with those hard times, it leads to usually some kind of learning experience. Before we move on to the next part of the cycle, we should play a few more songs.
All right.
Cool. The song is called Sleeping In. Sleeping in until 10 o'clock, never even looking at my cell phone clock. Why wake up at 7 o'clock, have no place to be? Get the call from Philly B, manager at my job, you see. Supposed to call in before 9:03, I'm still asleep in bed. Yesterday I hit my head, boarding down a hill, lucky I ain't dead. Should've listened to what mama said, wear a helmet next time. I don't want a helmet this last time, I have no reason to write this rhyme. Even though my head would've been fine, wouldn't have a song to sing. Cause I love being free, to do as I please. Even though I have responsibility to do as I please. Cause I love being free, to do as I please. Even though I have responsibility to do as I please. But at times I wish that life wasn't so free. Cause when you are as free as me, it's hard to see priorities I used to have, now up the tree. Hidden from view, now I'm feeling blue. Does would do. Does anyone have a clue? I wanna be happy like the rest of you. I wanna be happy like the rest of you. I wanna be happy like the rest of you. I wanna be happy like the rest of you. Take care of me. Now I have a liability to take care of me. I can only be free if I take care of me. Now I have a liability to take care of me. So, that last song, that was I kind of went through this whole cycle, this experience I had. I went to a songwriter's workshop, and this like professional songwriter lady, was running this course, and one of the activities was to play for the whole class a song we had written. And I'd recently written this song, and I was pretty stoked about it. But like, what you do is you hand out the lyrics and the music to everyone so they can like follow along when you sing. And then everyone like writes their own critique on the paper. And the lady's like, she's like, it doesn't really follow like any normal song structure. It's like two songs rolled into one, and yada yada yada. And it kind of put me off. I was like, oh man, And I mean, this is a lady who is making money as a singer-songwriter, and I'm like barely been playing for a few years, and I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about, lady. This song's gonna be great. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But so that was my pride getting in the way. I wasn't in a humble state where I could be open to her criticism. And then when I got the criticism, because I wasn't open to it, it was kind of like hurtful and like humiliating. But what I got out of it was like, well, I can take what I learned from that lady and hopefully write better songs after that. And so as we go through this cycle, we go from a state of humility, we start going to a state of strength. But at the beginning of this journey, it's like we're hiking a mountain, and we're really fragile at the beginning. And maybe we try to hike the mountain a few times, and we're trying, failing. But it's ultimately when we rely on a greater power than ourselves that we can usually get over those obstacles. From your experience, whether in music or life, have you had a time where you felt kind of like fragile or you needed help from someone stronger or like a teacher of some sort to lift you up to help you get over some sort of obstacle?
Well, there was a point where I was basically giving up on drumming or just everything musically because I wasn't progressing as I wanted to. But when I told like all my friends and my band teacher and everybody who thought I was pretty good at drumming, they were like, "No, you got to keep going. You just got to practice more." And so I thought about it, and I was like, "It's probably true. I do need to practice more." And when I started practicing, I instead of sitting there just saying that I was good enough, I practiced and I could notice a difference, and I was getting better, and I really needed their encouragement.
Absolutely. Practice is a term I think we can use in a lot of areas of life. We hear it a lot in music. We hear it a lot in sports. But anything you want to be good at, like, I mean, English is an interesting language. Well, I mean, any language is interesting, but so like to practice something, we just think, oh, just to play something over and over again until we get it right. But then if you think about maybe a physical therapist, what they do, it's called a practice. They're practicing medicine. You know, that's kind of like almost discomforting. You're like, I'd hope the doctor that's about to perform surgery on me isn't still, practicing how to do a surgery. But the truth is, like, the way doctors get really good and make a lot of money is it's through doing their practice, you know. And another way I've heard it is beating upon your craft. If you're some sort of like metal worker, you're literally beating upon your craft until you get the form or the piece of work that you want. And it's kind of cool how from my experience with practicing, so songwriting is kind of a unique experience because we put in all this time practicing, right? It's like, here's my rudiments, here's my rhythms, or here are my scales and my chords. And there's really nothing that inspiring about running through a scale or like a particular rhythm, getting it perfect tempo. But the cool thing is, once you start getting those like tools in your tool bag, also when that inspiration comes, which I feel like is from some sort of outside source, we have the means of like crafting and molding that inspiration when it comes. So in terms of inspiration, what is that experience like for you as a drummer?
Well, I'm always like on Instagram finding people's that I follow. They're like crazy good drummers, and I'm like looking to see what I can do that they're doing that would sound cool. And I'm always like looking up Buddy Rich and all those crazy good drummers, and like Dave Grohl, and he's doing crazy stuff on guitar and drums, and I'm just trying to get as much information as I can for as long as I can so that I can keep getting better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, some people just have like that kind of like that ridiculous natural gift for stuff, and that's cool and all, but from my experience in and out of music, a lot of people who are successful at what they do, they might not be like particularly extremely talented at it, but they put in the time, you know. And then there's the people who are already talented at it, and then they put in the time, and you're like, it's not fair, you know. But that's cool, man. Let's throw down some more music.
All right.
The sun falls behind the mountains, and the last flickering light paints fountains in the sky. yesterday, hello today, goodbye. Yesterday, hello today. And the sky is so blue. Today I must do the things I told myself that I would do. Punch procrastination in the face. Yesterday, hello today, goodbye. Yesterday, hello today, goodbye. Yesterday, hello today, goodbye. Yesterday, hello today. In the mountain air that fills my lungs, and I forget every single care. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Today I did the things that I told myself I'd do. Today I did the things that I told myself I'd do. Now I can sleep tonight, 'cause I know I did what's right. Now I can sleep tonight, 'cause I know I did what's right. Goodbye, yesterday, hello today. Goodbye, yesterday, hello today. Goodbye. Yesterday, hello This next one's called Home is Where the Fart Is. Fart. Where will I sleep tonight? I ask myself this every night. Or my friend's house down the streets, or another long night in the driver's seats of my car. Baby, I'm taking this far. This idea I got, talking to the stars. This idea I got, talking to the stars. Home is where the heart is. I looked inside myself. Home is where the heart is, and when I looked inside myself, I found home. Used to be a place on a map, physical place. Now I know that ain't the case. My home ain't a house with a concrete base, with a little room with a bed to rest my face. I know that's not the case. My home is a feeling inside. Learn this lesson outside. In my tent by a creek, answers I didn't see while I was talking to the stars. Where the heart is, I looked inside myself. Home is where the heart is, and when I looked inside myself, I found on the road. I was alive, but something died when I got off the drive. I miss I can't forget
I've actually only played Cajon 3 times.
What?
I've only played the Cajon 3 times in my life. Once outside of open mic, once at my friend's George's, and here.
Oh, George Levitri?
Yes.
That kid's a stud.
He knows everything.
Tell me a joke. I bet this lady knows jokes. No? 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 Okay. Well, oh, I know a good joke.
My life.
Perfect. All right, well, I guess we're not jokers, so we'll get back into the serious things in life. No, it's okay. We love you. Whoa!
Oh.
Why is this not working?
Need some Jeopardy music.
All right, so we're born. We wake up. We're a little flame. We think we're so hot and bright, but any flame without added fuel is gonna fizzle out, or life's gonna come and defeat you and douse water on you. So we get humbled. Our ego gets crushed. We realize, okay, maybe I do need help. So we're fragile. We get over this mountain because we rely on a greater power than ourselves, which if you don't think there's a greater power than yourself, you're probably not going to get very far in life, just saying. Even if you just believe in community, like you don't have to believe in like a higher power. It's like the collective human consciousness knows a lot more than you do. But you can tap into that with meditation and drugs. Just kidding. Well, kidding, not kidding. Anyway, so we're now at the top of the little cycle, and it's where we're kind of starting to get balance back in our life. And so as we go through the journey, we realize that there's sharps and flats. There's ups and downs. There's black and white. There's a better way to live, a worse way to live. And that's simply knowledge. That's simply knowledge. And so the reason I use a star to illustrate the balance is, look at the North Star. It's that constant point in the sky where ancient travelers are like, that's north. And then they could set their compass on that and navigate through any kind of treacherous terrain. And so, maybe your true north is your goal with, your music. Or, to even be good at your music, you need to use the knowledge you gain of how to be a good musician. So, maybe your true north is like, practicing a perfect rhythm, or getting all your fingers pressed down on those guitar strings to get that perfect sound. So, but the way we maintain a state of balance is accountability. It's being accountable to what we know. And you said you're 16, right?
Yes.
So, City's 16, and he lives in this information age. We all do. We're just always getting bombarded with new information, new knowledge. So, what do you do to stay, balanced or grounded in this world of, ceaseless knowledge? And, you're still in high school, you're still figuring stuff out, but what do you do to, try to find a happy balance?
Well, I usually am just playing my music or making music up, and if I want to know something, then I will Google it or I'll find a way to figure it out, but I'm not just going to go around, looking for random facts that I don't need to know. My life, I want to be music and happiness, and those are interlocked. So I just look for things that make me happy, and I'm not trying to look for things that potentially will make me sad or discourage me.
You're very smart. Very smart. That is really what it comes down to. Happiness and your art, And I think there are some irrefutable facts of human happiness, you probably need to drink water and eat food. That's right, man. Here's an interesting relation I kind of noticed a while back. So our bodies, when we're fully hydrated, is like 60 to 70% water. And our own planet Earth is like 70% water. What? But anyway, so yeah, there's basic things we need to be seeking to just be like healthy and happy. You know, enough sleep, drinking water, eating food. If you need to pay rent, you probably need to find like a somewhat fulfilling job where you're not going to like hate every day. But what's funny is we being the most, intellectually advanced species on this planet, we're supposed to be really smart, right? A lot of us like really suck at just seeking like life and happiness. And this kind of hit me one day when I was out rock climbing. I'm climbing this craggy, rocky cliff, and this little oak brush plant is just like growing out of the cliff face. And I just kind of stopped for a moment. I'm climbing, looking at this. I'm like, what a hardy little guy, Like, he could have grown somewhere a lot easier to grow, like dirt. But this thing's jutting out of the rock face. And I even in the past have used these as like handholds because they're just like this scrubby, hardy little bushes or whatever. And I'm like, the thing that hit me was this little guy is like doing everything in its power to like live. Its roots are way deep in this crack until it's found some water, some soil, some nutrients. It's fanning out its little leaves to get some sunshine. And I'm just like if people strove as hard as this little plant to not just live, but to like live their dreams or whatever, to fulfill what they came to this earth for, like it'd be a really cool place to live. But a lot of us are kind of scared to like shine or try, and so it's easier to just kind of live a mediocre life. But it sounds like you have a pretty clear focus. It's just like two things. It's music and happiness. So like, what are some of your goals with music? Like, where does it stop, or does it ever stop?
Well, it would be nice to. Well, it's anybody's dream to become famous, but one of my smaller goals is to be like on a stage at least performing for people. I mean, like right now, but like wider scale, and just to like progress on things that I want to learn music-wise, like songs that I want to learn. I want to be able to learn those and be able to like play them and understand them better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important to have like seemingly like goals that are out of reach. You don't quite know how you're going to get there, but what those kind of goals do for us, it helps us stretch, right? If we're not stretching, then we're not gonna grow. So kind of some final tidbits with this little logo thing. We'll play a couple more songs and the show will be over. So this figure in green kind of symbolizes us when we're in a balanced state. He's kind of stretching, right? His hands are up in the air, and that's to signify we need to be open to life. We need to be open to new experiences and trying new things. It's as soon as we start closing ourselves off where we start entering that prideful state. Because, I mean, I've met some musicians that I personally think, or I know, are way more talented than me. But sometimes they're even more humble than me. Because, and that's how they got good, was they kind of stay in that I'm a student, like a perpetual student, and allows them to like take in new information and grow and everything. But yeah, so we need to be open to life. And then if you imagine upside down, it's a turtle. So the musical notes are now a shell. Here's his head. Here's his little fins.
So even if we've fallen out of a state of balance and we're in a deep state of humility, sometimes the way to like get back to where we need to go, we need to dive after the little Jesus fish. I grew up with Christian beliefs, and the idea of having some sort of savior is very, I think it's an important thing to believe in. And you don't have to be a Christian to believe in a savior, you know. If you've fallen into a well and there's no way out but someone lowering a rope to you, that person is your savior. And I think, you know, so, and the idea of a turtle also is they're self-sufficient, you know. They carry their home on their back. They slow and steady wins the race. And that's kind of been like something that I had to keep in mind with my dreams with music, is like, you know, some people get lucky and they strike it big with not a lot of effort, but for a lot of us, it's slow and steady wins the race, you know. But I'm just rambling now. So that's basically the life cycle and the little logo to go along with it. And now we're going to play some music for these awesome kids. You guys ready? Or are you leaving? All right. Sweet. We might be here, we might not, so have a good night. Let's rock out. This song is called Names. Do we have to put a name on everything we see? A proper name for every rock, bug, and tree. Spend some time in places many eyes haven't seen. But even in these wild places, everything has a name. Oh, it's a shame. Does it all need a name? There's a name for this and a name for that. Rat, scat, cat, bat, a battle over this and that. I just might have a heart attack if we don't stop. We think we know it all because we have a name to call. The world surrounds us. But is it ours to name? To me it's all the same. It's beautiful. Once we start the naming, fall into a race. But are we all just runners in the race of life? No black, no white, to stop the fight to be right, and just take a hand and hold it tight and start. Because we have a name to call. The world that surrounds us is talking. But is it ours to name? To me it's all the same. It's beautiful.
Stop all the naming. We think we know it all because we have a name to call. The world that surrounds us, the silly little game, but is it ours to name? To me it's all the same. It's beautiful. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're fine, man. Where are you visiting from? California. Cool, man. One day we'll do a tour through California. We'll come say hi. Last one we're going to play for is called Breathe. Oh, and this is an encore. Oh, I can never say the note of an encore. Floating through the sound, floating high, high above the ground. I'm floating gently now, gently like a cloud. But all the while I'm homebound. Open up my mind. And open up my mind. This air that I breathe has been breathed before. It's hard to breathe new air. If I stay in my chair, locked behind this door, It's my angsty early 20s song. Hey, you too, man. Do you want a CD, bro? I forgot to pull my CDs out. We're going to give you a CD. Hold on. Just the original music, man. Check out Balance Through Art. Or search my name, but instead of an O, do an E. Madsen. Because if you can't find it, search a Balance Through Art. I can friend you, and then I can give you a link to some more stuff. But yeah, man, it's just basically the life cycle we go through. Ideally, we want to be in a state of balance, but we fall into pride. That leads to humility through some sort of defeating experience. Then we gain our strength back to get on our own 2 feet again. But it's pretty in depth, but yeah, man. Little guitar. What do you think? You can do it? So I can try. I don't remember the lyrics, but I figured it.
Hello? Hey. I'm going to be making up the lyrics as I go.
Sweet.
This is not my song. This one is called Polly. Yes. You go screamo. Hello? City. Austin. Veronica.
So we're even.
cracker. Think I should get off her first. She wants some water to put out the blowtorch. Is it me? I haven't seen. Let me clear the wings. Let me take a ride. Get yourself. Want some help? Yourself. Got some road. You've been told. Promise you I have it true. Let me take a ride. Don't put yourself. Want some help? Please myself. All they want's a cracker. Maybe she would like some food. She asked me to untie her. Chase would be nice for a few. Isn't me? I haven't seen. Let me clear the dirty wings. Let me take a ride. Don't get yourself. Want some help? Yourself. Lost some road. But you've been told. Promise you I have been true. Let me take a ride. Don't cut yourself. Want some help? Please myself. Polly says her back hurts, and she's just as bored as me. She got me off my guard. It amazes me the will of instinct. Isn't me? Haven't seen. Let me clear dirty wings. Let me take a ride. Don't get yourself. Want some help? Could please myself.